Semen Retention is a cult and it's growing. And I was asked, are you the leader of this religion, of this cult? And no, I'm not the leader of it. I think I am a leader in it, but a movement has many faces. So you could see there's many guys talking about retention at all different levels as well. I saw this video someone sent me. They're like, I had to send it to you. And there was this guy. They were asking really fit guys on the street. They're just like randomly interviewing why they're so fit. And this guy turns around and he's like, I practice semen retention. And he's like, this practice is tremendous. Not only is it going to boost your testosterone, but it's also going to give you great hormones. And one of the reasons I'm so healthy and I'm so fit is because I practice semen retention. Now, he went on to say something that I would not say because I have a different perspective and I also have a different depth of knowledge about the practice. But he said, but this is only for single guys. So if you're married in a relationship, you can't do it. But if you're single, practice semen retention. Well, I know that that's not true because you can learn to have non-ejaculatory S3X, experience non-ejaculatory orgasms, and enhance your ability. But I digress. Let's go back to the opening line. Is semen retention a cult? And the answer is yes, it is. But not in the traditional way in which we would look at cult. I'll explain in this video. Let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Nakula and I help men master their S3X energy so you can become a powerhouse both in and outside the bedroom and ultimately unleash your conscious leadership ability, unleash all the gifts that God and nature has given you. Is semen retention a cult? Well, the word cult is short for culture. So semen retention is part of a culture largely practiced by spiritual practitioners. And this shows up in different forms. In some cults or cultures, it's practiced as celibacy. So monks, for example, who become renunciants. In our world of alchemy and powerhouse men, we're not monks. We are like a half a step from a monk in a way, but we know we do have S3X. We're generally married or relationships, or they're single guys that work with us, but they know that they're going to be in a relationship. There are some guys who practice semen retention and nofap because they want to pick up women and have lots of S3X, and they recognize by refraining from masturbation, it gives them a certain amount of presence. So even within the world of nofap semen retention, you could see that there are different cults or cultures growing within the movement. I'm not into the whole we're doing this to pick up women because that's not at its essence what it's about. So yes, there are many coaches talking about that. And if that's what you're interested in, then I'm not the guy for you. I'm the guy who's interested in growing as a leader, who wants to make a positive impact, who wants to grow closer to God, and ultimately wants to discover who he is and be the best version of himself so he can show up for his family, for his community, for his nation in the most healthy, positive way. I also work with guys who want to learn to become better lovers, be more intimate, reverse things like erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation, and ultimately use that energy in a creative and powerful way. So is semen retention a cult? Of course it is, because it's a culture. It's a culture of men who are bettering themselves through this practice. The goal isn't semen retention itself. It's a process used to hit the goal, which is to become a self-realized man and actualize your potential. So it's like a technology or a tool that we're using. And the overall culture or cult is personal development, spiritual development, bettering ourselves. Now, some people hear the word cult and they get scared off because they're like, oh my gosh, a cult. Don't be part of cults. But everyone's actually part of a cult. Some people are part of the hip hop cult or hip hop culture. Some people are part of celebrity culture, the mainstream culture. Some people are part of the political culture. They watch politics all day long. And then they're going to say, I'm not part of a cult. Of course you are. You actually have no choice. We're all part of cults because we're all part of cultures. Some of you are part of religious cults or cultures. You might not think of it that way, but again, just expand the word. Cult means culture. Now, there are large cultures. For instance, the materialistic culture, I would say, is the largest culture in the world right now, right? People are driven by materialistic values. Right? When you're watching MTV all day long, or I don't even know if MTV is still a thing. I don't really watch mainstream TV. But if you're watching, whatever you're watching, movies and celebrities, you're part of that materialistic culture. If you're driven by the next product that you need to buy and have, you're driven by materialistic culture. If you're driven by, whatever the next fad is, then it's materialistic. So largely materialistic culture is what dominates this world. And you'll find largely people are unhealthy. Mental health is plaguing the world like never before. Big Pharma, there's a cult for you, right? Big Pharma has its grip on our society like never before. How many people are popping pills? You know what? One of my, I guess I don't know who he would be to me, like my mother's cousin, whatever that would make us. So he calls my mom and, they're in their 60s and 70s now. My parents are very healthy, but most of the people around them are not. And so whoever this guy is to me, my mother's cousin, says to my mom, so what drugs are you on? Like, what pills are you taking? Like, what subscriptions? My mom's like, none. And he was like blown away. And I was blown away that he would even ask that question. Because to me, that's a crazy question to ask. But what it revealed to me is how much being on pills has been normalized. Like, you just ask that of someone. So what pills are you on? Oh, well, I'm on this and I'm on that. And Ozempic, right? That's a hot one. And all these things. So Big Pharma has created a culture where we accept pills and all of these prescription drugs, and now they're just making them easier and easier to get as normal. Look at the addiction in oxytocin, right? Or oxycodone, excuse me, not oxytocin. This has become a culture. So yes, we are presenting a culture in which men are choosing to not engage in adult content online. They're choosing to use their S3X energy for creating babies, if that's what the goal is, to have a baby, or to be more intimate in their relationship, not multiple, one. They're using their energy to create intimacy and connection. And ultimately, the culture here is that we are presenting semen retention as a spiritual practice and process to actualizing your potential, to reaching the destiny that God has placed in your heart, and to using that power to connect to your spiritual truth. If that resonates with you, if that's a cult that you want to be part of, then make sure you reach out and connect with me, and I'll show you the process. Now, the dangerous parts about cults, in the way that cult is used traditionally, is that you have to take all this indoctrination and it's difficult to leave. Well, that's not what this is. These are training programs in which you invest into, and you practice at home, and you enhance your life, and hopefully you enhance the culture or the cult that you're part of, like your family. That's a culture. What's your family cult like? Is it positive or is it negative? Is it harmonious or is it full of trauma? Are you guys partners together working towards one thing? Or do you spend all your time in different rooms and just come together when it's time to ignore each other in front of the television for 2 hours? What's your business culture like? There's a cult or a culture. I worked for some big businesses. I hated the cult. I liked the job. It's the cult. It's the culture that I hated. So I'm like, I got to work for myself and create a culture in which people can be free, they can work. We've got a team here. We've got a business that's growing. We've got clients from all around the world and students. And we preach a culture of personal responsibility and freedom. So if that sounds like something that you want to be part of, reach out and connect with me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel hit the bell button so you never miss a video. I'll see you on the next one.